everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to do another shocking challenge. So there's a lady on my who left a comment on my YouTube video that said MDV Shutterbug is her name, and she said, "Fantastic, these shocking challenges are inspiring. Be well and have a happy day." That made me happy. So we're going to call them the shocking challenges. So my one for today is going to be bargain bead box. First of all, let's do our encouraging word. Get that done. You are an inspiration. Remember that. Do not ever think that you do not matter. You are an inspiration to someone, even though you may not know it. All right. So bargain bead box this month, and I have a big pile of stuff over here. I've got eye pins and a bunch of stuff. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. But these are the main beads, you know, in there. And then I've got all these little spacers and stuff too. But we're going to see how many single layer necklaces we can make out of this month's bargain bead box. So here are the beads, and look at them and tell me what you think. How many single layer necklaces do you think we can get out of this box? Let's find out. Okay, so here's what I've laid out for this first necklace. I went ahead and put this hexagon piece, or octagon, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hexagon piece on this jump ring. This is a 12mm jump ring, and I just put a hanger bell on here, okay? Just thought that that would make it nice and pretty and an easy way instead of, I didn't want to wire wrap. I hate wire wrapping. I just didn't want to do it. So we're not going to. So there's that. And then I like these beads. Now, I said in the unboxing that I wasn't too thrilled with these vermilion beads. I still think like a pink or a burgundy would have been a lot prettier. But we're going to use these, and I think they're going to be very nice anyway with this. I think they'll be fine. We've got a lobster right there, and a ring for it to clasp onto. I have some jump rings here. These are just 6mm jump rings. I have 2 noodle beads. You can use any noodle bead that you have. You don't have to use a noodle bead if you don't want to. I just kind of thought that would be cool, and so I'm going to try that. I've got 2 clamshell connectors here, 2 2x2 crimp tubes, some, I think these are about 22 gauge eye pins. I have one of the little leaf, filigree looking leaf charms out of the box, and I have some 7-strand bead stringing wire. And I think that's pretty much all that we're going to need. So let me get this out of the way for just a second. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our noodles. They are going to be strung on here like that on our bead stringing wire. So let me grab my wire. And I don't need much. It's just not gonna be a huge, you know, a huge amount. I'm gonna do about probably 12 inches maybe, because I do want to bead on this just a little bit, and then I'm gonna go into making some links with our eye pins. So it'll be kind of a two different kind of looks in this one. So right now I'm just going to thread on one noodle, and my bell, and my second noodle. So just like this. Now, your bell's going to float over your noodles, and that's fine. See? But what you do want to make sure... Okay, so I hope you didn't miss anything there. My phone just quit recording. It's like, I am full. So I had to delete. I had 510 things in my trash. So yeah, let's get that out of there. Now the phone will probably be a lot happier. All right, so I'm just going to put the 2 noodles in here, and when I crimp this, I have to make sure that these are together. I wish I had one long continuous noodle, but I don't, so we're just going to have to make sure that these don't come apart, okay? And now we're just going to bead a little bit, so let's move this stuff out of the way. Now, this is totally up to your own creative control on how you want to put these beads on here. But let's see what we got. We've got these beautiful green faceted coin beads, not beans, beads, which I really do enjoy these. I think they're so pretty. All these faceted coins I think are so beautiful. There's that one. And I don't want to put the vermilion color too close to this pendant piece because it's so bright. It's very pretty. I mean, I like it, but it's a little too bright, I think, to be right beside this. So we're going to use a few of those, but we're going to use them on up into this necklace a little bit. I do want to use some of these larger Unakite and some of the smaller Unakite beads. Whoops. I'm just pulling a few off of each strand here and then moving them out of the way so we can kind of see what we got. Here's the smaller ones. These aren't Unakite. These were, I think it was Jasper. And I was like, they look just like Unakite. It's no wonder that half of us can't tell. I mean, some of you guys are super good at telling what gemstone beads are what gemstone beads, and I'm getting better at it, but man, some of them just look so similar. Like these to me look like Unakite. I mean, I know there's some in here that don't, but for the most part. Okay. And then we've got these really pretty rondelles that are in this kind of creamy color. Creamy pinky. And these may end up looking more pink than I think, but these rondelles, but I wish they'd have gone with a shade of, just to match this rhodonite. That would have been nice, but it's okay. Now, let me think a minute, because I kind of would like to put some bead caps in here. So let me see what I have in bead caps. Okay, and I've got these. These are just the standard 5-petal. I've got these on my website if you're interested in a bunch of different colors. These are just the standard old 5-petal bead caps, but they work so good on just about like all beads. I love them. They're some of my favorites. So we're going to throw some of those in somewhere around in here. All right, so I think I'm going to do, to start, and I'm just going to bead each side the same. I'm going to do this little sparkly rondelle after my noodles. And I'm just using my thread to pick it, or my stringing wire to pick these up. Nope, you don't get to go yet. Get off of there. Well, what happened? There were 2 on there, and then there was none. Okay, there we go. There we go. So that's nice. Now, let's see here. I don't want to do... Actually, I think I'm going to do one of these guys, but I'm going to do one of these smaller ones. Let's do those. Let's do a couple of these smaller ones. Here we go. So let's do this guy. Whoops. Let's work up to the big one a little bit. So let's do those. See how that looks. Okay. And then let's do 2 of the pinkier shades of the big one, and I'm going to do a bead cap. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. Okay, same thing on this side. Let's do this pink one. I want to get a lot of the pink in there on these down here close to the pendant piece. Alright. That's pretty. That is really pretty. Okay, now let's do a green coin bead. Yeah, really pretty. And see, a darker shade of green would go really pretty with this too. So if you wanted to pull out from your own stash, but I'm just trying to use just the beads in the box. But you could pull out from your own stash, like a darker green would be pretty. Maroon or burgundy would be really pretty. So there's lots of things that you could put with this. This shade of pink would be really pretty. Okay. And let's see, let's do one more of the bigger Unakite beads. And again, I'm just trying to pull out the ones that have a bit of pink in them. Bead cap. This guy. And these bead caps, I think adding in metal really heightens, elevates the look of your jewelry. That's just my own personal opinion. You can do whatever you want, but I like to add in metals. Now let me see if this guy, he's still just so bright right there. it's a pretty bead, but it's so, so bright. So I'm going to go with a smaller Unakite bead. And then our green coin. On both sides. Smaller Unakite bead and our green coin. Well, that might look okay now. Let's go ahead. Let's do... No, let's not do that. Let's just put him on. I'm going to put him on with the pointy part of the drop facing up. It adds a nice splash of color. I just don't want it to be too weird of a splash of color. You know, like people go, ew, that doesn't belong. I can't decide. Goodness. It's okay, but I'm not loving it right there. So let's take them off. We're going to do a couple more of these guys right here. So one more on this side. One more on this side. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and crimp. Yeah, that's beautiful. That looks really pretty. So I'm going to take my clamshell connector. Let me get some of these beads out of the way. Okay. Take my clamshell connector, putting my wire right through it, and then I'm going to take my little crimp tube. And what am I doing? No, I'm not doing this right. My goodness, what am I thinking, guys? So sorry. Hold on. All right, so ditch the clamshell connectors. I mean, we'll probably end up using them, but I don't know what I was thinking. You need wire guardians and crimp tubes. So, good Lord. Let's go ahead and let's put on our crimp tube first. Then our wire guardian. Yeah, I don't know. I've even had my coffee this morning, so that's not a good sign that this day is going to go that way even after coffee. Yeah, not a good sign at all. Not a good sign. Okay, and then we put this wire up around our wire guardian, and then we go back through our crimp. And I like to pull this through several beads. Okay, so just scoot that up like that, and then just cover your tail with several of your beads. And this double stringing wire should go through all these beads. They've all got holes big enough that it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, pull everything down. So here's what we've got. We've got our little wire guardian and our crimp, and our wires going up and over and back down through here and then through several of these. So crimping pliers are important when you're crimping. So I've got my crimping pliers here. On this end of this, I don't have to worry too much about getting everything, you know, just perfect because we're still not crimped on this side. But so right now I'm just going to take it. I'm going to make sure that it is pulled up here and there's no wire sticking out that little loop. I'm laying this in the back divot of my crimping pliers. I try to make sure that the wires aren't crossed, and that's pretty easy to do on this side. Pulling tight to make sure that this wire up here doesn't loop up. I'm laying it in there. Okay, pulling tight and crimp down. So that puts a little channel and puts each of your wires in its own little separate channel, and then you turn your crimpers sideways, and we're going to close this little thing up right here. Okay, just close it up really good. Make sure that it is nice and tight. And then we're just going to go ahead and pull this down on this end. Okay, just like that. Now, on this other end, we're going to do the same thing. And usually I'm all about telling everybody, don't make this stick straight, don't make this poker straight. You want it to have some flexibility. This time we really don't want it to have a lot of flexibility because we want these noodles to stay together. So we're going to put our crimp tube on. And again, our wire guardian. Just like this. Going down through here. And then we're going to go right back through the crimp tube and several beads. You don't really need this tail to be this long. You can trim this up a little bit. Save your extra wire. You can always use it in small things like tassels or things like that later. Go through here and go through 2 or 3 of the beads. And then you want to pull. So I grab my wire guard and I pull like that on the tail. So that gets everything down. Now, just make sure you don't want it so tight that it looks weird, but you do not want there to be a space between those noodles. Those noodles have to stay side by side. So pull it tight at first. I like to bend my little wire guard in. Pull it really tight and hold tension on this as you lay this in here in the divot. Now, as I'm pulling tension, I'm holding here and I'm just going to crimp down. Okay? And then same thing, turn sideways and close it up. Now I'm going to trim this off. And there we have our little beaded section, okay? And because there's a break in between these 2 noodles, this is going to hang kind of at a point, which I like that. I think that's cute. Okay, now we're going to make some links. So we've got this section here. And we're just going to create some links. And as much as I want to use these in this, oh gosh, I don't know if I could do a dangle down here. I kind of want to use them in this, but I kind of don't. I think I might just not. One thing we are going to do is we're going to take this little leaf. We are going to get a jump ring. And we're going to attach this little leaf right here on top of this pendant with a jump ring. I will show you how. So right through here, and I'm just going to attach it right there. Very simple, but it's going to give this just a little bit of extra right there. So I like that. Pretty cute. Okay. Now we're going to make some links. So grab your eye pins and your beads. And you have to measure how long you want this to be on you. This kind of a necklace, I do not want to hang super long on me, so I'm probably going to go for, I don't know, around 20 inches or so, and then put an extender on. I don't know if I'll keep this or sell it, so I'll put an extender just to be sure that, you know, it can be adjusted. But here's what we have so far. Just making sure everything is okay. Now we're going to take our links, and we're going to just create some little beaded links using the same beads that we use down here. I don't think I'm going to put these vermilion beads on this necklace. I don't know. They're just a little bit too bright. I think we're just going to stick with this. It's so hard to figure this out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, let's see what we got. I'm going to go small unakite bead and then big unakite bead. And I'm just going to grab the unakite beads now. I'm not going to worry too much about keeping the pink color on here because we're up kind of far now from the, yeah. And then I'm going to do a coin. Actually, I'm going to do this guy and then a coin bead. Yeah, that'll be pretty, I think. And then the coin bead. Yeah. All right. So what I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other. So I'm going to bend this 90 degrees right above the bead. Okay. And then I'm taking my round nose pliers. I'm grasping right here in the bend. And I'm coming up and over, rotating this up and coming around. And it's going to give me a little loop here. And then I'm just going to take my wire and I'm going to wrap it one time. I don't want to do a big wire wrap, but I do want this to be secure, and so I'm just kind of wrapping one time, but I'm not doing wire wraps on all the other things. I don't know, these these eye pins seem a little thin to me, and I just don't want them to come undone. So I'm going to wire wrap this one side, but just not like a true wire wrap, just around one time is all I'm doing, just so that it won't come undone. That's it. Straighten it up if it's crooked. Now, I'm going to make the matching one for the other side. So we've got this guy here. We have our Unikite bead, big one. Then our rondelle and our coin. And if you feel your jump rings your eye pins are thick enough that you don't need to do the wrapped loop, you don't have to. I don't know. For this one, I just felt like that these eye pins weren't real thick. This one seems thicker than the other one. Sometimes I get one rogue one mixed in, and that might have been what happened there, but so I am going to wrap this loop just, again, around just one time. It's just to hold it there. It's not to have it show, or, I'm not going for that look. I'm just trying to hold the wire around the loop. Just like that. Alright, so there's that one. Now, we're going to make several more links. You want to make the links the length of the necklace that you want, but you want to make sure you leave a little bit of room for your clasp. And we're going to hook these together with jump rings. And I do that because I feel like that it makes your necklace lay much better. It doesn't get bound up and twisted up, and it's just going to lay easier. So I like to hook the links together with jump rings. You do not have to if you don't want to, obviously. I am not the boss of you. You do whatever you want. This is just an idea here. So there we go. So now I'm just going to make some more links, and I'm going to do as many, I can do them. I don't have to do them all this length. I can do 1, I can do 3. I kind of like to do that. So, like, for example, for the next one, I think on this one, I would just do the single Unikite bead. And it just gives it a cool look, I think. It's just totally your own creative control. But see, I think I would like that hooked together. I don't know. It's just going to give it a cool look. So go ahead, make your links, get your necklace to the length that you want it, except for, remember, you need to add your clasp. So when you get all your links done and hooked together, come on back. Okay, so here's what I've got. And from the top of my little link here to the bottom of my pendant piece is right under 12 inches. I mean, like, just almost right there at 12 inches. So this is 24 inch total. And now I'm just going to put my clasp. That's what that thing is, my clasp on here. Whoops. So I think I'm going to do a couple of these guys as extender. And I'm going to make my own little chain here, basically. I'll show you. So let's grab a few of those out. We've got some smaller jump rings. So these are the 12 millimeter. These are 6 millimeter. I think they're 6 millimeter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little ring here. And I'm just going to put my lobster clasp on. Right onto here with my jump ring. Close that up. And then over here, I'm just going to take this. Whoops. I'm going to hook the small link to it. I'm going to put it right on here. Close it up. Take another large link. Put another small link on. Hook this one to this one. Close that up. And then I'm going to take one more large link, hook it to this one, And I've made my own little extender chain here, so you can clasp this anywhere you want. So there it is, super cute. This is necklace number 1 of single layer necklaces from the bargain bead box this month. So let's see what else we can come up with. So for this next one, we're going to be using some of these druzy beads, some of these little guys. We are going to pull in these vermilion guys, a couple of these, a few of these. Basically pretty much everything that we used in the last one except for the vermilion. So we're going to be using all of these. We are going to be using a few of the 6mm bead caps again, these right here, just like on the last one. We're going to be using some eye pins again. We are going to use this link, and you're going to need a ball head pin, just one ball head pin. So there's that. And then your lobster and your ring, of course, and your chain. And I think that's everything that we're going to need for this one. Okay, so let me get these things kind of out of the way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create a couple of links here with these beads. So I want these to be, so I want this one, the fat end, to be away from, and then this one, so they make kind of a little, almost like a little bow looking thing there. And then I'm going to do back-to-back bead caps right here, just like this. And well, no, I was going to say, I don't know, let me look at this for a second. I had a thought, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. So I like that. I think that's really cute, and so that's what we're going to go with. Okay, I'm going to bend this 90 degrees. I am going to trim off part of it and then roll back a loop, just like that. Okay, so there is one piece. Now, I'm going to create another link here. And how do I want to do this? I'm kind of designing as I go today. I really like this guy here. I'm not sure I like him that close to... What about this? I've already laid out some links. Let's do this. I like this. So I'm going to take my eye pin. I'm going to go cream colored bead, this guy, this druzy bead, and this one. And I'm going to create my links again, not going the entire length of the necklace. I will show you what I mean here in a minute, but yeah, I like that better. So you can create your links however you want. Obviously, you don't have to do them like I'm doing, is what I'm trying to say. Get back over there. But yeah, I'm going to do this. And then this one, the druzy bead, and this coin. And all these necklaces will kind of be layerable. They'll, you know, however many we come up with out of this, they will be layerable. You'll be able to layer them together because they're all going to be the same beads. So that'll be kind of cool. And I'll show you what I mean later. Okay, so here's this. Now, what you need to do is continue to create links until you get about 7 inches of necklace, okay? So go ahead and create some more links until you have about 7 inches total. So right now, I've got about 5. So yeah, 2 more links, actually go about 9 inches. So a couple more links, and go ahead and do that, and then come right on back. Okay, so I have my links here, and my total is, it's right about, actually I went about 12 inches. So you can adjust yours if you want, or you can leave it like you've got it, but that's what I did. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our chain, we're going to even up the loose end of it here and find the middle. Okay, you need your middle link in the middle of this chain. Okay, so my middle link is right here. So what I'm going to do now, I've got my middle link there. I'm going to create with this guy. Do I want to use this one? No, I want to use this one. This one's a little better shape. I am going to hang this guy right on the middle link. So I've already got a jump ring on there. So let's hang this right on this middle link. Right there. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and it's going to be hanging wrong. Well, it shouldn't be. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it. I've got my middle link, and I want my middle link to be right below this. Okay. And I'm just going to lay this out on my table. Now, these two right here, I need to hook together with a jump ring. You can hook them to each other if you want. I prefer to hook them with jump rings. I just feel like it makes everything so much better looking in the end. Things lay right. Okay. So we're going to put that one on there. We're going to put this one on over here. Just like this. Okay. And what that does is create a big long link for us. Now, what we have to do, what is important to do, is make sure that this is hanging directly underneath this. Okay. And then we're going to take our jump rings and we are going to hook this one. So I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to hook it right here through my chain and then through this. Okay, just like that. Now, what I've done is I have just picked a link here, okay, to hook that through. But I have to make sure now that it is even with the other side. So I'm counting the length that this guy's hanging on. Whoops. Goodness. Let's scoot this up a little. Okay. So counting the length. Let's lay it out here so it's flat. There we go. So counting the length that he's hanging on right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, counting both of the links they're hanging on. So I need to come over here and I need to do, counting the one he's hanging on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And when I find Mr. 27 here, who is that guy, right there, there he is, I need to take him and hook him on. So we're going to do this. We're going to open the jump ring. We're going to hook this one on just like we did on the other side. Then Mr. 27 goes right here. Okay? And then this guy goes on. Hook that together. Make sure it's closed really good. And then when you pick it up, they should hang just, it should hang just like that. Okay? Now we're going to hook our other ones on. So let's pull this down. We've got these two like this. Actually, I like it better like that, I think. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open my jump ring. I'm going to put this guy on. And then I want to decide, you can let it hang kind of loose or you can make it tight. I want mine to be kind of tight. I don't want it to be hanging loose on this part. So I'm going to line it up So taking this jump ring, putting it on here. I'm just going to line this up and hook right on here. Okay? So that that chain comes up along the side there, but it's not hanging loose. And I can, if I don't think it looks good, I can go to the next link. It's, you know, like I said, it's totally your own creative control. Just do it however you want to do it. Now this one, I'm not going to count. And the reason for that, well, let's go ahead and put this guy on too. The reason for that is these little links could be just a little bit different, you know, in length. This one has to hang in the middle down here. But this one can go, you know, if I count the links, then this might be a tad bit smaller than this. Or when you get the jump ring on, it may be a little bit, you know. So I'm not going to count links on this part. I'm just going to take this, hook it right on here, take my chain and line it up like I want it to be. Okay. Hook it onto the jump ring, and then hook this one on, and then close it up. And then I can look at it and see if it's hanging like, you know, like I want it to hang, and it is. Okay. Now, you may end up with chain on top and chain on bottom. If that is the case, we may have to flip something in a minute, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Okay. You don't need to worry about that just yet. So flip things around, try to get it to where it's laying flat. That's what's important. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing right here with our jump rings and our chain. So just take your, I want this on the bottom, so if I can flip it to the bottom right here, there we go. And then same thing, I'm going to take my chain and my jump ring, and I'm just going to line it up, hook my jump ring onto the chain, like that. Now, I caught 2 links. You don't want to catch 2 links. You just want to catch the 1 link when you're doing that, because otherwise it's going to mess things up. And close this right up, just like that. Okay? So there's what we've got on that side. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, just grab your jump ring and hook your chain right to, directly to your link over here, wherever you want that link to be. I think it looks pretty good right here. And just hook that directly to my link. There we go. So here's what we've got. I like this. And you know, honestly, it doesn't matter if it is hanging on the top or the bottom. I just think it's cool looking, just mixed in there with the other stuff. So I'm not really going to worry too much about flipping it if it, I think it just looks cool hanging like that. Okay, so here is our ends. And, you know, you need to decide how long you want this to be. So, oh, we've got to do a little dangle. I'm sorry, I forgot this part. Okay, grab yourself an eye pin. Totally forgot this part. This is important, though, because it needs to kind of draw this down, and I feel like this is going to do this. So I'm just going to take my little, do I want to, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I think I'm going to go this guy and this guy, like this. Yeah, so let's hang this on here. Now, I'm going to just hang this directly on. I'm not going to use the jump ring with this part because I don't want to make this too long. And so I'm just going to open this up and hang it right on here like this. There we go. Close it back up. Okay, and then I'm going to use my ball head pin, and I'm going to take this little green guy, Jasper. This is Jasper, these little 6mm Jasper rounds, and I'm going to create a wrapped loop here. So to create a wrapped loop, you want to bend that 90 degrees. Then we're going to come up and over, rotate our pliers up, and bring this under. And now I'm going to go ahead and hook it on, just because you could just open that ring again if you want, but it's easy enough just to hook it on like this. Then I'm going to grab it right here, and I'm just going to take my fingers, and I'm going to wrap. And I'm going to make it a kind of a messy little wrapped loop on there. Take your pliers. Tuck it in if you can. If you can't, you can just trim it off. Right there. Okay. And there we have it. That's our little focal. Okay. So now is where you have to decide how long you want this to be on you. And I wanted to make sure the focal was on there and make sure that all your chains look like they're not pulling. So, you know, like, I just want to hold them up, make sure everybody looks even. I mean, when you put it on, it's going to kind of spread out, but yeah, I just want to make sure everybody looks even, and so far they do. So I'm going to put this together, and then I'm just going to decide how long I want it to be, and then cut my chain accordingly. So let me hold it up on myself. Okay. And I don't need a whole lot of chain on either side, especially when we put our clasp on. You're going to have that little bit too. So I'm just evening these up right here. And I am going to do about 3.5 inches. Just because I think that that's going to be a good spot where I like it to hang on me. And then you can put an extender on as well if you need to. But I'm just going to cut this chain right here at the 3.5 inch mark. Where was that? I started to cut it and then I lost my link. So right about the 3.5 inch mark is right here. Okay. My cutters are very dull. Very, very dull. Look at that. They're completely closed and not cutting this link. That's terrible. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to line these up. And just, I'm not going to count links. I'm just going to come across right here and cut. Goodness gracious, these cutters. They are, I hate to throw them away. And I've never been able to find a good way to sharpen them. People say use aluminum foil, but that does not work. It's never worked for me. I don't know what they're doing that's different, but it hasn't worked. Okay, so now I'm going to take my ring and my lobster, wherever it went, and I'm going to hook them on. So the ring, I'm just going to hook directly on here. No need to really use a jump ring because we've got these nice links in our chain. So let's hook that right on. And the lobster, I will use a jump ring. And we're just going to put it right on the end. And that, my friends, is necklace number 2. And I know I said single strand, but I'm considering this a single strand anyway because the chain kind of goes in with the rest of it there at the top. I mean, you know, all the way up except for at the very bottom where it hangs, but I still think that looks pretty much single strand. So there it is. Now when you wear it, this will spread out a little and that won't look so squared. So, but there it is. I think that one turned out good. Alright. So necklace number 3, let me figure it out. Okay, so now we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to use the 7-strand beading wire. We are going to use 4 of these druzy beads. We're going to use 2 leaves. We're going to use these leaf beads, both the bicones and the rondelles in these cream colored ones. The bigger Unakite and the small Jasper. You're going to need some jump rings, possibly some bead caps. I can't decide if I'm going to use bead caps or not. I might. A large ring for your lobster to clasp onto. 2 wire guardians, 2 clamshell connectors, 4 crimp beads. I've only got 2 out there. You're gonna need 4, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure you're gonna need 4. Let me get 2 more. In fact, yeah, you are gonna need 4. Let me get 2 more. So I don't know what I was thinking there. 4 crimp beads. There they are. There's 2. There's our other 2. Okay, a lobster clasp, some jump rings. Did I say jump rings? I think that's everything. This is different. I've never done a necklace like this before. I saw this on Pinterest, or something similar to it on Pinterest, and I thought that looks really fun, so I'm going to give it a try. So this is made to be a longer necklace, and we're going to need 2 lengths of bead stringing wire. Now, I'm going to put this up and measure down on myself, and I'm going to cut it. I said that like I meant it, didn't I? I'm going to cut it. I am. Okay. So this piece right here, let me see how long this is. This is 24, right at 24. And I've got alcohol inks on my fingers still, because I've been doing some alcohol ink projects. And I don't wear gloves, because when I do, I can't feel what I'm doing in the tips of my fingers. So I've been trying to get this alcohol ink out, but it's not coming off. And I know everybody's giving me every way to try to do it, but it just doesn't work that way for me. Okay, and now this one, I want to be a little bit shorter. Not a whole lot shorter than the other one, but it's going to hang a little bit shorter. So I'm going to cut it about 23 inches. Okay. Maybe these poor little cutters. I really need to toss them. Okay, so that's our 2 pieces of bead stringing wire. So what we're going to do... let me think about this. Do I want to do it this way? Oh, you're going to need some eye pins too. I'm sorry, I forgot the eye pins. They're important in this though. Yeah, I am. I'm going to finish the ends first that the clasp goes on, and that's not normally what we do, I know, but that's what we're doing. So I've got my 2 crimp beads. I have got my 2 wire guardians here. And I have my lobster and the ring for it to clasp onto. And a jump ring to hook my lobster. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this like I'm finishing the end of my necklace. So I would put on my crimp bead. Sorry, it does help if I'm in frame. Sometimes I'm really bad about that. And then other times I do really good. It's like, I don't know. It rains, it pours, it seems like. Okay. So I'm going to put the crimp bead on, and then my wire guardian on. And then I'm coming up and over, just like this. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and just stick your little jump ring right on here, because then you just won't have to fool with opening it. It's just kind of fiddly is all. But if you want to go ahead and put it on before you close this little connection up, you can do it. See? Just like that. And then I'm going back through my crimp with my wire. I'm going to make sure those wires aren't crossed, and I'm going to close up this little wire guard a little bit with my pliers. I just like to do that. It's just a thing with me. You don't have to. I'm going to pull a little bit of a tail down, so I've got something there. And now, hanging on to my tail, this is how I usually do it. I hang on to my tail with this, like this, and I've got the longer part in my fingers down here. So I'm pulling tension on both parts. I'm going to lay the crimp in here. I'm going to crimp it down. Okay, so there it is. Now let's put one of your wires in each little channel where you crimp down. See them? So now I'm going to turn it sideways and just getting the jump ring out of the way. That's one reason I don't go ahead and put them on usually, because they just get in the way. And I'm going to close this up. There we go. So there's our little crimp. Okay. Now, if you wanted to put a crimp cover on, you could. I'm not going to fool with the crimp cover. But we do need to crimp the other side too. Same thing. Except for we're just going to use this big jump ring. And I'm not going to put it on ahead of time because it just gets in the way. It's really a pain. So I'm going up and around my wire guardian, going back up through the bead with my wire here. Okay, and there's what I have. And again, I just grab one end with these fingers, one end with these fingers, and I pull tension on it both ways, and that just keeps it from popping up right there. Now, it also keeps your wires from crisscrossing, but you have to kind of, there we go. It's a little fiddly. You'll figure out your own wonderful way eventually. It's very individualized, I feel like crimping is. A lot of things in jewelry making are very individualized. Crimping, making loops. I mean, people do things all different ways, and none of it's really wrong. It's just the way that you're most comfortable doing it, I feel like. I've had people be like, that's wrong. I don't think so. I think if it works, it's not wrong. It's just different from, you know, somebody else's way, which I totally have screwed this crimp bead up here. He's just having issues. Let's see if I can get him to close. There we go. No. If not, I may have to. That's what I get for talking the whole time I'm trying to work here. Yeah, I've totally messed him up. I don't even think he'll come off. That's the thing, when you get them, you may not feel like it's on there very good, but man, to try to get the thing off is just about impossible sometimes. Maybe it's not screwed up too bad. Maybe I can close him. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, he was not so bad. I just didn't have him in there. I didn't have the wire held very good. Okay, there we go. So we've done both ends. I'm going to put this guy on one end, this big jump ring for my lobster to clasp onto, and then I'm going to put my other little jump ring on the other end. And here we have our closures, and they're already done. So now we're going to work from, and I know it sounds weird, but we're going to work from the top down on this necklace, and it's because of the style of it. And you'll see when we get down here. Okay, there that is. Let's put this on here. Come on now. There we go. All right. Thankfully, it stayed on there. These jump rings are so awesome. These are the jump rings from the curated bead box, and I love them because they are so strong, but they can be a little difficult to manhandle. You know, if you have to like really make them work for you sometimes. There we go. But they're awesome jump rings. Okay. That was hard, it seems like. We have our two little ends here. Now, I'm going to put these together because I want this to kind of be even all the way down, and I want it to match. So I'm just going to put those together. Now I'm going to lay this right here, and I'm just going to start beading. So because I have a little extra, should I do, maybe I should do a, no, that's pretty close. It's going to be okay. All right. So I'm just going to start over here, and I'm going to do bicone, bicone, jasper bead. I hope I have enough beads to do this. This is going to be a long necklace. And I can always make it a little shorter if I want to, but we've got bicone, bicone, jasper bead, just like that. Then I'm going to do rondelle. And this part that's up here in the back, you know, unless you've got your hair up or something, it's really not going to show all that much. So I'm just kind of using the smaller, little bit plainer beads back here. Some of the bicones. I'm just doing a little rondelle and these little jasper beads in for a little variety, but because I just didn't want to do straight bicones, and I need some of the bicones for down in the other part of the necklace. But I don't really, and you could use chain up here even if you wanted to. I don't really want to use my good beads on this part up here because it's going to be hidden. Okay, so bicone, bicone. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to do bicone. Sometimes these go on real easy and sometimes they make me have to pick them up. Bicone, bicone, jasper bead. Jasper bead. Rondelle. 3 bicones. So we got 1, 2, 3 bicones, a jasper bead, and 3 bicones. And I'm using like these whiter and yellower jasper beads up here because I really do want the green to be down toward the bottom. And 3 bicones. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I want to make sure my tail's tucked right here. Tuck your tail. Tuck your tail. There we go. Okay, so here we have it. That's what we got so far. Now, I'm going to do a small jasper bead up here. I'm just kind of using some of these whiter, clearer ones, like I said, up at the top here. So let's do a small jasper bead. Jasper bead. Now, we're getting to the point where it's going to start showing, probably. So I'm going to do a rondelle on either side. And a rondelle. And then probably another 2 bicones. Like this. 2 bicones. Oh no. Got stuck in my crimping pliers. Okay. And then I'm going to do a leaf bead. One of these gold leaf beads. Now the leaves, I want to make them pointing up. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but I'm just going to do mine that way. Okay, so I have my rondelle. Get in there. So I need bicone, bicone, and leaf. Bicone, bicone, and leaf bead. Okay. So there's what we've got so far. Now, I am going to do a small jasper bead. Doesn't really matter which one at this point. Jasper bead, a rondelle, and then I'm going to do a bead cap, a unakite bead, and a bead cap. And another bead cap. And then another rondelle and a bicone. Rondelle, bicone. Okay. And then I need to do the same on this side. So I've got my leaf bead. I'm going to do the small jasper bead on here. And don't let your wire kink up. Try to keep it from doing that because you don't want it to lay weird. Rondelle bead. Bead cap. Unakite. Bead cap. Rondelle and bicone. And bicone. Alrighty. So here's what we've got so far on both sides. So now what you need to do, wait a minute, why does that side look longer? Did I miss something over here? So if one side looks longer than the other, which mine does, what did I do wrong? Y'all are probably screaming knowing exactly what I did wrong, and I'm like, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? Oh, no, I guess I didn't. Okay, it's just the way it was looking. And you'll constantly have to tuck the little tail in these beads because it just wants to, they just want to scoot out, but just keep putting it back. Okay, now, that was funny. I'm like, why is this side, I mean, that side really did look longer than the other side. For some reason, it's a little illusion. Okay, so I'm going to do a leaf bead, and this time I'm going to do it pointing down because that other one's pointing up, and I think this would be cool looking pointing down. We're going to do a leaf bead over here, same thing, pointing down. Okay. And I'm going to do, let's see, rondelle, jasper, and you guys need to go ahead and bead this the way that you want it to go. So, it's totally up to your own creative control how you do this. It does not matter. The only thing that you need to consider is this is going to be kind of ladder style eventually. So you have to decide how far down you want this to go before you start your ladder. I think, let me look here. I'm going to make mine go down about 8 inches and then do my ladder, I think. I may go down 10. I don't know. Let me grab some bead bugs. If you have bead bugs, and I'm sorry I knocked the camera. Bead bugs are the most awesome thing. So I can stick this bead bug on here, which I probably should have been doing all along, and that way I wouldn't have had to kept scrunching my beads back up there. I probably still would have had to because that just is how it works for me. But I'm going to put the bead bugs on. Then I'm going to put this around my neck, the back of my neck, like it would be if I was going to wear it. And I'm going to pull down to where I think I would want my ladder to start. And actually, yeah. So I want my ladder to start about, I've still got this around my neck, 5 inches from the bottom, okay? So I got some beading to do. So I'm going to bead down until I'm about 6 inches from the bottom and then come on back. And you guys do the same thing. Okay, now one thing I did want to mention. I said I was using 4 of the druzy beads for my ladder part, which leaves me 2 left over. So I'm going to put these up in here somewhere, just randomly in. It doesn't really matter where you do it. Just do it how you like it. But yeah, I'm going to put these up here somewhere just so they kind of tie in with the bottom. And keep in mind that when we get to our ladder part, you're going to probably need some of these rondelles. Okay, so save about 10 of these out for your ladder part. Okay, so I'm down pretty, you know, I'm about 6 inches or so, a little bit more from the end. So I'm going to start my ladder part. So for your ladder part, you're going to need 4 of the druzy beads. Okay, you're going to need 4 eye pins. You're going to need, I think 8, maybe just 6, but possibly 8 of your little rondelles. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy here. We are going to put him on our eye pin. Like, what is this thing? It's an eye pin. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put a bicone on each side, because I could do that. Let's see what that would look like. I think I like that. Okay, so I'm going to put a bicone on each side, and then I'm just going to bend this 90 degrees and make a regular loop. Okay? Don't worry about the way that your loops are facing at this very moment. We will fix them in a minute if we need to. Okay? Just try to make them the same size. That's the major thing at this point. It's just to make them the same size. Okay? We take baby steps here. No need to rush. Right? Okay. So there's one. You're going to do 4 of those. Bicone, druzy, bicone, same exact thing. And roll it back. Okay, there's 2. Do 2 more and come right on back. Okay, so we're back with our little ladder rung. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed 1 loop through here, 1 loop through here, just like that. Pull them down, put a rondelle on each side, 1 on that side, 1 on this side. Okay. And now we're going to try this next one. We may need to put 2 rondelles in between each one. I'm not sure yet, but let's see. So this next one and this one. Let's see how it looks when we push it up. Yeah, they need 2 rondelles in between each one. So let's do another. Rondelle, rondelle. And then our next little ladder. And you're going to continue that. Rondelle, rondelle, ladder, rondelle, rondelle, ladder, until you get all of your ladders on. Put 1 rondelle at the bottom, like we have 1 rondelle at the top here, put 1 at the bottom of each one and come on back. Okay, so here I've got this on. Now, you want to kind of pinch it tight. And all these have to be closed up really good. If they're not, your little ladders are going to come out. But as you can see, this one, so if I turn it the right way to where it lays flat against this bead, this loop against the bead, then this loop is not laying flat against this bead. So what I need to do is I need to hold this one right here, just like I need it to be, and then I need to twist this one until it equals, until it's the same as the other one. Okay, so just like that. And then you want to make sure that they are closed up really well, because if they're not, this little bead stringing wire will slip right out. Okay, so it's a little fiddly, but you can do it. And you really don't want to do what I just did and bend it in too much. Just enough to where it's closed up, and that doesn't look very good, that loop. Okay, but make sure all of your, most of mine are already kind of laying the right way, but like this one might need to be turned just a little. So what I would do is I would take this, hold it like I need it to be, right here, and then just twist this one to where it's even with it. Same thing here. Hold that like I need it to be. Twist that one even, okay? And when you get them all going the same direction, they will lay nicely, okay? This one I'm just going to bend that down a little. So if anybody's crooked, just straighten them up. If anybody's not completely closed, make sure that you close them up, and I would go through and just make sure they're all completely closed up anyway, because if they fall off, it's going to mess your whole necklace up. See that one? Yeah, that's the one I just did. Okay, everybody else looks pretty good. All right, so here's what we've got. We have our whole little ladder part done. So now I need to continue to bead down. So I am going to do a bicone on either side. And you can bead down just exactly like you want to. You don't have to do it the way I am. So continue to bead down until you get within about ½ an inch of your bottom, okay? And then come on back. Okay, so here's my end. So I've got a little bit left here at the bottom, but I've bead bugged this because I want this one to hang longer. So I am just going to go ahead and bead down this one just a bit further. Let's see. I've got 2 of these leaf bead left. I better not use them. I better save them because I don't want just 1 leaf bead. And I'm just going to continue going down through here for a minute. For just a little ways, because I want them to hang just a little bit offset. Probably not much more than that, though. So let me find another bead cap. And I'll probably stick a little bicone on the end here, just for some finality. And a little bicone on the end here, just for some finality. Now, yeah, that's cute. Okay, now I've got my 2 leaves. Where are they? My 2 filigree leaves. Here's one. Here's one. Okay, so these guys are going to hang on the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that everything is pulled tight. Again, not stick straight. You want there to be some movement, and you don't want it to look weird, but you do want it tight. Okay? And then take your crimp bead. Where in the world did my crimp beads go? And you've got these little lobsters. Okay, there's a lobster. Or, I mean, clamshells. Clamshell, clamshell. I've got 1 crimp. Where's my other crimp? Oh, he's probably mixed in here somewhere with... Oh, there he is. Is that him? Nope. Okay, I'll grab another one because I'll find him when I go to clean up, I'm sure. Oh, no, there he is. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do here, and I am going to take a little bit of glue. You could do 2 crimps on this. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do it with just 2 crimps because I don't have the glue out, and everybody else may not have glue either. So let's do, we have 2 crimps. We have 4 crimps total, 2 per side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clamshell. I am going to put that right through there. And I'm going to put my 2 crimps on. 1 and 2. Okay. Now I'm going to crimp them down one by one. Now they don't have to be crimped, like you just have to smash them down. They don't need to be crimped as in like correctly crimped, because we're not doing 2 pieces of wire. You just need to make sure that they are secure on there. See, that one's not. So I'm going to pull him back. I didn't smash him hard enough. And make sure that you get them flattened and that there's not room left at the bottom. See, this guy, why is he doing that? Huh. That's funny. He got crimped down perfectly tight, and the one below him did not. And I need him to be the one to come off because he's... But it'll be okay. I'll show you something else we can do too if we need to. Now, are they tight on there? That one's still not. That one's not either. Alright, you know what? I'm pulling these 2 off and I'll put 2 more on. Because neither one of them is doing what they're supposed to do, and I don't know why. Alright, let's do one at a time. So I'm going to put this guy on first. I've never had them do that before. Put that guy on. I like to use these pliers because they have this pointy little end. I'm making sure everything is pressed up and crimping him down flat. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, I don't know what the problem was with the others. I may have gotten them stacked on top of each other, and then when I tried to crimp them down, neither one worked right. So do them one by one. That's probably better. And then I'm putting another one on, just right below that one. And I'm going to crimp it down as well. And that way you've got double the protection right there. Okay? So nothing should come off. I'm going to trim this off. If you wanted to put some glue in that, you could. It wouldn't hurt, but I don't think it's totally necessary if you've got 2 crimps on there. I mean, you saw how I had a little bit of a hard time getting those off, and they weren't even crimped down very flat. So there you go. Now we're going to close this up. Just like this. And just make sure it's closed up and they're inside there. Perfect. And there we have a little end. We're going to do the same thing over here. Put our clamshell on. Put our crimp bead on. Scoot him down. Make sure that there's nothing loose in your wire up through there, and it looks good. And then we're going to grab this guy and crimp him flat and tight. Okay. Now we're going to put this one on and do the same thing. I'm just flattening them down with my chain nose part of my plier. Okay, I'm going to cut this off. Maybe. Poor little cutters. And close this up. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could very easily stick some glue in there. I don't think that it needs it, but you could. And then I'm just going to close this little clamshell connector. Make sure it's all tucked in there. And close it up. Okay. Now, super cute. We're going to take our little jump ring. And we are going to attach our little leaves to the bottom. And there, we're going to have a cute little necklace. You could do some little tassels down here. You could do some dangles. You could do, you know, pretty much anything you want. I just like these little leaves. I thought they were cute. And there they go. Alright, so here is necklace number 3. I like this one a lot. And just kind of spread it out a little so it's not... There we go. Super cute. Look at that. That is really cute. And I'll show you all these at the end. But here's number 3. We used a lot of beads in number 3 too. So we've made 3 necklaces. Let's see what else we can do. So for this next one, so I've really struggled with this enameled pendant. It is just super cute. I don't have a problem with it in itself, but I don't feel like it goes with this stuff. So it doesn't really match that green because it has lime green in it. And I think that just, that bothers me. It doesn't really match this vermilion because it is burgundy. And this hunter green here, you know, it kind of goes with it, but it's got this blue and this lime, and I don't know, I was just really having trouble. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm apparently not creative enough to come up with something to tie all these colors together, because I'm not Marcy, I am going to use some green leather that Anne-Marie sent me. Love this stuff. And we're going to do some little beaded tassel type situation here, okay? So I don't know if I'm going to, I think I will use some of these. So what I'm going to do, so for, you know, a tassel you want to be kind of long, I think. At least I like them to be kind of long. So I don't want it to be like crazy long, but let me see here. I'm just holding it up on myself because that's how I do the best with measuring. Okay, so I think I'm going to cut right about here. Put the rest of this leather back in my box because it's trying to run away from me. Okay, so I have got, let me see how much leather I have here. So I've got about, let's see, 12, about 16 inches, so 16 and 16 is what, 32? So 32 inches of leather here. I have the leftover chain, so this is all that I have left out of the box, which is still actually quite a lot. Okay, so I've got these guys, these vermilion beads. I have another enameled pendant. I have these bicones and rondelles, 2 of the 8mm Unikite, and some of the little jasper beads, the toggle, some of these coin beads, 1 link, and pretty much all of that strand of these pebbles or chunks, whatever you want to call them. So what we're going to use for this one is really probably just, I do have this guy left, oh, and these 2 leaf beads. So I'm probably going to use these things and maybe use this toggle too. No, not on the leather. Well, I don't know. I may use the toggle. And I may use a few of these, because these I felt like went pretty well with it. And some of the bicones. I don't know. We'll see. So we're just going to go ahead and do our thing. So the first thing I am going to do is I've got this hanger bail, and I'm just going to put this on here. I am not the best with barrel knots, and I really need to practice them, but I don't want to do that on video. So I'm going to use a hanger bail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a jump ring. So this is a 6mm jump ring. And I'm going to hang this to this and this on here, and then all of them on there. Whoops, maybe I may have to get an 8mm. I think this will work though. So he's first. And honestly, it doesn't matter which hangs in front at the moment. The bead frame or the... Oh, and I didn't mention that either. That's a quick link. It's called a quick link from Beadalon. It's just a ring, but it is faceted on one side. So here it is. It's just called a quick link. Beadalon makes them. You can use any ring that you have. Any hanger bail that you have is fine. Okay, so here's what we got. Now, let's go ahead and do our tassel. You know I could not do a necklace challenge without a tassel, right? Okay, it's got my little jump rings here. So I'm going to take my chain. I have a little left, and we're going to see here. Probably that's about as long as I want to go with it, maybe even a little shorter. Yeah, probably about like this. So I'm just going to cut my chain into some varying lengths with my doll cutters here. I feel like they're just chewing things up, like gnawing it, you know, like a baby does with no teeth. That's where we're at with this cutter. Okay, so I've got, and if you take one piece of chain and like say you want it to hang catty corner, kind of like that, you can just do it like that. You don't have to cut each piece, but if you want to, you can. So, you know, I'm just going to make them hang different levels in here. So those two are pretty much the same. I don't really want to go longer though. Let's do this. Okay. And then I have this, and I want to do several pieces of the chain. I like having my tassels to be fairly full. I don't like them to be wimpy looking. No wimpy tassels. Okay. So, Colleen, my friend Colleen, I was laughing as I was reading the comments on this. She was laughing at the mushroom too. So apparently I wasn't the only one. It's just me and her apparently, but apparently we were the two people that the mushroom struck us as kind of funny. And it did. But we're going to use that mushroom today. Alrighty. Come on, little... Good Lord, I have got to get some new cutters, y'all. I've just got to invest in them. I don't know what I do to mine. I think I just use them so much, because I don't use these on memory wire. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we're going to get some ball head pins out. I didn't mention them, but you're going to want some. And I'm just going to make a few little dangles with these bicones, teeny weeny dangles, okay? These are not going to be big. I'm going to bend that 90 degrees. I'm going to make a very small loop, okay? And I am going to wrap it only because, well, because this is a thin ball head pin, and I don't want to take a chance that it falls off. So I'm wrapping just like that. I'm going to cut this off. There's my sad little cutters. Cut that right off there. And then I have a little dangle. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Jeez. Okay, and I'm going to do that like 4 more times. Okay, so I'm going to make 4 little dangles, 4 or 5 little dangles, probably 5 with the bicones. And again, I don't want them to be very big. They just need to be teeny tiny little things. I love this color green leather with this. I do think that the green coin beads are super pretty, and I think the vermilion beads are super pretty too, but with these pendants, I just had a terrible time trying to get the colors to, I don't know, I was just like, these, as much as I tried to put that vermilion with it, and I did on the one necklace at the very beginning, but they just, or the second necklace, I think it was the second necklace we did, but they just, I don't know, they just don't look right. But we've got to use them, so here they are. I'm going to have to put them in something here in a minute, because I want to use all the beads. I'm challenging myself to see how many necklaces I can get out of one bargain bead box. So I kind of have to use them, right? I want to try to use everything. And I haven't added any beads in, really, just the bead caps, the leather, and a couple of, you know, hanger bells or something like that. So I'm using just the beads from Bargain Bead Box, pretty much. So we'll see what kind of a value we get. I've done a lot of bracelet videos, you know, how many bracelets can I get out of something. So I thought the necklaces would be kind of cool. And necklaces are, you know, if you take about 4 or 5 bracelets and put them together, you've got a necklace. So you can look at each necklace as about probably 4 bracelets, or 3 at the least. So if we did that, we've got 3 necklaces back there and we're working on our 4th. So we'd be on like 12 bracelets. Alright, there's 3. Let's do one more. I kind of like, or 4. Let's do one more. I kind of like the odd number, maybe. We may even do more in a minute, but right now we're just going to stick with the 4. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Now, I'm going to take these guys here, and I am going to put them on jump rings. So I'm going to open this jump ring up here, and I'm just going to start putting my tassel pieces on. Like, there's one, and it's okay if that one doesn't hang, you know. I want some of them to be offset, but the majority of them can be pretty much the same length. Okay. That's cute. And we'll stick this guy on here. And that one looks a little too long, so let's take him off. Come back a link or 2. Yeah, so he's not crazy long. There we go. That's pretty good. And now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to hook it right onto here. Just like this. Okay. So, if we don't have things getting tangled up here, there is what we have. Right like that. Okay. So now, I'm going to take these little guys, and I really need to pull out some, I do have these tiny little jump rings. I don't know where these came from. They were just kind of laying out here on my mat. But I'd rather use them than the bigger ones. Let me see, I do have some more up here that look very small. Oh yeah, here we go. Very small little jump rings. This is what I want. Look at them, they're teeny. And because I don't want them to show really big in these, you know. And I'm just going to hang these from different places, like this, on this tassel, with these micro jump rings. These look like they're, what, 1 millimeter, if? Maybe, no, they couldn't be 2. Maybe they're 2. Oh, they're teeny. Okay, so I'm just going to pick some spots, like, here's a good spot. And just hang the jump ring out. I want to make sure that I don't put it through 2 chains, just through 1. That's just going to give us a little sparkle down in here, and I do want a couple to be on the very ends. I may make a couple more. We'll see. This guy. And I know this video is going to have to be split up into like 15 different videos. But like I said in the last one, you can't really do a good thing super fast. I'm sorry. This is not TikTok. I can't go through here and make a bunch of necklaces in 2 minutes. It's not going to happen. So we will have to split it up. Okay, so there's that one. I don't really care about that being right at the moment. I'm just trying to, let's put one here. Just like this. Okay. That one is just like continually going to the back. I think when you have it on though and it kind of lays against you, it's going to pop it out front better. Okay, so this guy, let's do him right maybe here. No. Okay, I'm trying to lay these down flat so I can kind of see where there we go. This one I think I'm just going to do like right here. Okay. And I'm just trying to kind of space them out so they're not like all on top of each other or anything. And then this last one, I'm going to go right up here toward the top. Just like this. Now you can always add more of these if you want, of course. It's up to you. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put these leaves on and this mushroom. So the mushroom, I'm just going to kind of hang in here somewhere. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the mushroom. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Colleen gets me. All right. So, little Mr. Mushroom, I'm just going to hang him kind of right in the middle, right there. Or I could, no, could do him like right there. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm just going to do him right here in the middle. Maybe. And the reason I keep laying it down and dragging it like this is just because it lays everything flat the way that, you know, it's kind of going to lay against your body. So maybe I should put him up here. I guess I'm just going to stick him right up here. That's probably the best thing. So just finding a place on the jump ring, I'm just going to stick him right up there. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe I'm probably going to have to move him. I don't know that that's going to work. Okay, we'll see here in a minute. All right, let's grab a couple of these. Trying so hard to focus. Okay, so these have a little bit bigger hole. You're not going to be able to just put your regular head pin through there, I don't think. I'm just going to use this ball head pin. It's tiny. I want it to look like the leaves are falling like this, I think. And again, just going to do a wrapped loop. Okay, just like this. Pulling it around a couple of times. That ball head pin's a little bit thicker than the other ones. Okay. And watch my cutters not be able to cut it because it's thicker. Oh no, they did great. Good job. Okay, so there's that one. And then let's do one more. Just make sure that they stay on your ball head pin, that it doesn't come out the bottom. Because they do have a little bit bigger of a hole, I think. The leaf bead, I mean. Okay, so here we go. I want to see what everybody else does with these vermilion beads, because I am just not the best at mixing colors. I want to be. I want to do lots of things. I want to be a wonderful singer. I want to be able to draw. And there's just some things that I can't do. And those are two of them, along with putting together colors really well. I'm just not the greatest at it. And I accept my limitations. It's okay. But I want to see what everybody else does, because I find it very interesting. People that are good at that, I really like to watch what they do. I love watching Marcy's channel. If you haven't watched Marcy Creates, you need to check her out. She's awesome, and she is so good at putting colors together. She's just, that's her talent, man. It is her talent. Okay. Now, I've got some that are flipping over here, so let me try to, because that's gonna make me a little confused when I go to make sure everything's laying the way it should be here. Oh, goodness. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to put this other leaf bead in here somewhere. This mushroom's got to go somewhere else, y'all. I can't stand it. It's just not going to work right there. We got to move the thing. It's going to have to come down a little bit in this tassel. It just is not going to work right there. Okay. Let's move it down here. Like, I do want it to show. I just don't want it to be quite so. Yeah. That's what I don't. Okay, there we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. There we go. That has to be better. It is, sort of. Oh, that mushroom is stressing me out. Okay, let's go on with this guy. This other leaf. The leaf I'm going to stick right here. Alright, let's take a look. This mushroom's got to go. So I just can't. I don't know about the mushroom. I really want to use him on this tassel because I don't know what else I'm going to use him on if I don't use him on this tassel. He's got to go in this tassel. But where? Listen, Mr. Mushroom, you are stressing. I may have to add another jump ring, because this tassel is turning sideways, and it would be much better if it would be flat like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the mushroom. He just really needs to hang near to the bottom, I think. Pretty sure. Let's just put him on there and see. Okay. Now, I do want to put a couple of pieces of the leather down here too, I think. So let me look at this leather for a second. I think it would look good just to have a couple pieces of it down in here as well. And I can take it like this. But it's going to stick way out from I mean, it's going to be weird sticking out from the chain. I'm not going to do that. That's going to mess things up. Let's just go where we're at. Okay. So now I need to put the closure on. So I have these two cord ends. Oh, actually, do I want to put some beads on here? Let me look. Okay. So we got this going on. Now I could do a couple knots here. I could actually, let me look at this. I could actually do a knot there and then make it kind of like Y out like this. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Is that cool? If I do a knot there, I kind of like that. Okay, let's do that. Let's tie an overhand knot. So I'm just not coming up very far from this focal here. And I'm just going to come down and very gently manipulate this knot the way that I want it to look. So like right here. Oh, I do like that. That's cute. Okay, now, so what we're going to do is pull this apart. And I'm going to do, if I can get these beads on here, and they may not go. They're not going to go. I thought they might. But now if I cut this different, so if I'm careful and I take this and I cut this at an angle, kind of like a needle, see? Then they may. Still not counting totally on it, but it's a possibility. No, it really isn't. Okay, so if I want to have any beads up here, they're going to have to come on like a, well, I could a bit. No, I don't know. Let me look at some of these and see if maybe there's one with a bigger hole. Sometimes there are, and you just have to, but in this case, there are not. So this is it. We're either going to leave it like this, which I really like it. I think it's cute. Or we're going to try to figure out a way to put beads on it up here, which is going to look weird because, you know, they're not going to just go on. We would have to like hang them or something. And I really did think these would go on this leather, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't know why I thought that, because they definitely do not have a big enough hole. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to finish this one off. So, that's okay. Here we have our cord ends. You just press your leather right in here and take your thumbnail and hold that down. It's best if you use flat chain nose pliers like this. And you just want to lay this down right here. See that? And it has a little toothy thing in there that kind of grabs onto the leather. So there you have it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other end. Maybe. There it is. Again, just grabbing that with the tip of my fingernail, thumbnail, and laying it down. Sometimes it helps if you do that, just to kind of get it where it needs to be. And these things can be a little difficult sometimes, but for the most part, they're not that bad. Okay. So there we have it. Now I'm just going to put my, I was going to use a toggle, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to use the ring and a lobster. So we've got a ring here. Just going to put it on. And a lobster over here. You know, I have one leaf left. One of these leaves left. Wonder if I should put him in there too. That'd be kind of cute, wouldn't it? Because I just have the one, so there's really nothing else totally great to do with him. So, yeah, I may stick him on here, too. Just to give it one more little element of something to look at. There it is. These leaves I thought they were really cute. So, let's see, where would we want to put it? Yeah, right about here, maybe. Can't get it to grab onto anything, can I? Come on now. Let's do you on the end right here. That's a good spot. I didn't open my jump ring wide enough. That's my problem. Get on there. There we go. Okay. There's that. So here we have it. I'm going to put my lobster on, and we have done necklace number 4. And I feel like it's kind of evening out because, like, for this one, we didn't use hardly any beads at all. But for a couple other ones, we've used tons and tons of beads, so it's kind of evening out. But this one used a lot of other things besides beads. Okay. So there it is. Super cute little tassel. Just like that. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, let's do necklace number 5. Wow, we're getting a lot out of this. Okay, hold on. Okay, so for this next one, we're going to do a choker, and we're going to use the toggle. So, here's what I've got. And I will bead this up per side as I think it needs to go, because I'll have to measure it as I go is what I'm kind of saying. So I'm just going to cut a couple pieces of the bead stringing wire. So this one, we've got a couple long necklaces, we've got a couple that are kind of medium, so I thought a choker would be kind of cool. I don't wear a lot of chokers because I'm claustrophobic, but still, I thought it would be kind of cool to have one in this collection here. So I'm just using the same bead stringing wire that I've used all along. I'm cutting about 8 or 10 inches of it here. I wish I were cutting it. There we go. Okay. Now, you're going to need, let's see here. I'm going to use this link in the middle. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to crimp. So let me grab a couple crimp beads. So we'll need 1 per on there, and then we're going to need them on the end as well. 1 per on the end. And I like to use wire guardians. Just feel like it makes things more secure. So we're going to need 1 per over here and 1 per on the end. There we go. Okay. And that should do it. And I may use a crimp bead cover, possibly, here. Let me see. See what I've got in the way of crimp bead covers. Yeah, there's just a little plain gold. Probably going to use those there. I just think it'll make it look better. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is crimp onto my connector here. So I'm going to take my crimp bead, put my wire guardian on, go up and over like this. And because I don't want a heck of a lot of jump rings and stuff like that, I'm going to crimp this directly to right here. Okay, there's my crimp bead. I'm going back down with this tail over my bead. Well, for heaven's sakes, it's very fiddly. Stop it. There we go. And then I'm just going to look at this, make sure that my wires are not crossed, and there's no thread looping up there or a wire. I'm going to lay this crimp bead in here, scoot it up, and smash it down. Okay? So there's what I've got. Now I'm going to turn this to the side, close this little crimp up, and then I'm going to take this little crimp cover, and sometimes you can set these in your crimping pliers in these little grooves and it goes on pretty easy, and sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But today I'm going to try it. So I'm just going right over the crimp and closing it up. And today it worked fairly well. And then these are very malleable, so if you need to just, you know, adjust him a little, like if he's got a little piece sticking out there like mine does, just adjust him around, and then it just looks like a little gold ball on there. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So where's my wire guard? We've got our crimp bead, wire guard, coming up and over, back through that crimp, and pulling tight. I'm going to pull a little bit of that down because I don't need that much. Oh, I forgot to put it on my, that's a problem. I have to put it on my link. My hand's sweating and I just pulled it off. I've been making this video forever, it seems like. I mean, I'm on like, I've done this, even though I'm going to break the video up, I've done it all in one setting and I'm kind of tired and hungry. Okay, so let's go in here. And we're going to go ahead. Oh, somebody was asking for an update on my dad. So, my dad, he is he's out of the hospital. Well, he was out of the hospital. He went to skilled nursing, which is basically the nursing home, for rehab because he can't go home yet. He's got to have rehab before he can go home. I just keep on doing this, don't I? And while he was in skilled nursing, he was having trouble breathing. And so they did a chest x-ray because he's had pneumonia. And they said that it looks like things are clearing up. It's just kind of left over from the last bout of pneumonia. So, what'd they do next? Oh, his hemoglobin dropped. And so he had to go back to the hospital for a blood transfusion, which is not unusual for him because he's been on dialysis for so long that his veins are weak and they leak. And so his hemoglobin drops often. So that is not necessarily an unusual thing for him, but, you know, it's still scary. And so he is back at the nursing home now and just continuing to do his rehab and try to get better so he can go home. And I am believing for healing for him. I have always believed for that my whole life, but I'm really kind of putting my faith out there now, and I'm going to believe that God's going to heal my dad. And it's going to be a great miracle because God would be the only one that could do it. He has been in renal failure, stage 4 now, for years. And short of a kidney transplant, which he can't have, he would, there's no medical way to fix him other than a miraculous healing from God. So that's what I'm believing for. And if you don't believe for it, I don't want to hear anything from you because I'm believing for it and my faith is out there. And I don't want you to do anything to derail my faith. Not that you could, really, but still. Let's just, if you don't believe for that, then that's okay. But I do. So that's where we're at. Thanks for asking, though, about my dad. So, okay. So now here we are. We have got this hooked on, and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to start beading it. I've just got 2 of these guys left. I have a bunch of these green ones, and some of these too. I don't know that I really want to put those in there. I may put a couple of bicones in there. So let's do this. Let's do a bicone. A bicone would be kind of cute. So let's do a bicone on here. We're not putting the vermilion beads on here. I keep making fun of them. I can't help it. They are really pretty beads, but just they don't go with this. Not very well at all. And I want to see what other people do, though, because I know that other people are probably going to make them look fabulous with it. And then I'm going to be like, oh, I'm not very creative when it comes to colors, which I already know. It's okay. All right, so I'm doing a bicone each side. Now, with a choker, obviously, you have to measure your neck. And make sure that you get it, you know, you don't have to have it super tight. You can do them kind of loose a little. I mean, you just don't want it to be like too loose or it's not going to be a choker. But you don't have to make this a choker. You can do whatever you want. A lot of people don't like them. And I don't really like them a whole lot, but if it's not super tight, I'm okay with it. All right. But I just thought since we've done other necklaces in different lengths, it'd be kind of nice to have a choker in this set. So that's what we're doing. All right, I'm going to put a bead cap on, and I'm going to use my last 2 Unikite beads here. These 8mm ones. Okay. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I'm just trying to make a pretty little focal on here. So there we have that. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's see here. What do I want to do next? I don't want to use a ton of the bicones in this. So I think I'll do another coin bead. These are so pretty, sparkly. Just beautiful little beads. That one's broken though. I think I had enough to have actually one left over, so that may be the leftover one because he's got a crack. Let's do another one. Pulling those out. Alright, so what you need to do is just bead this up however you want it to go for the length that's going to fit you. Now, you have to keep in mind we're going to use the toggle as a clasp, so, you know, make room for that in your figuring of how long you want this to be. But go ahead and bead it just like you want to do it and come right on back. Okay, so I've used everything, all the bicones. I have some of these rondelles left and one of these guys left for this necklace. And so I think that I'm at a good length though. By the time I put my toggle on, so let me see how long this is. Where's my ruler? So I'm right at 12, about 14.5 inches. And by the time I crimp this up and, you know, do all that, it's going to be long enough. So, grabbing 2 wire guards again, and I think I already had these things out. I managed to mess up my whole pile every time. And there's one crimp bead. Let me find one more. Okay, I'll just go to my, I'll find it when I clean up, that's for sure. There's another one. And another wire guard. Alright. So, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm not going to crimp right onto my toggle. I'm just going to crimp and then attach it with a jump ring because I want to be sure that, number one, it's long enough, and number two, I can adjust it around if I need to, because chokers are kind of, you know, they're kind of precise. Alright, so I'm just going up and over on my wire guard. And right down through the crimp, through a couple of these beads, and especially on a choker, I am going to go down through a few of the beads with my tail, because if this would break, and you know, chokers are a little tight sometimes, and if it would break, I would have some extra wire here that, depending on where the break is at, I could possibly fix it, okay? So, without having to restring the whole thing. So, it's happened before to people, trust me. So, I'm just kind of sticking my wire until it comes out somewhere, which it's going down in there pretty good, so that's not bad. It's not a bad thing. On a choker, you definitely can't hurt. Oh, come on. Can't hurt you to have a little extra wire in there. Okay. So now my problem is, there it is. Okay, I was going to say I can't see the bottom. Okay, there we go. Now I'm pulling this tight, taut, but not tight, okay? So again, I don't like to, you don't want to pull it so straight that it doesn't have any movement. It needs to have a little movement. You just don't want there to be any loose thread and that kind of thing, or loose wire or beads or whatever. If you would happen to have a loose bead or loose wire or spot in there that you were like, oh no, you could stick a crimp bead cover over your wire. So pretend like this is a gap. I could put a crimp bead cover just like this right there, and it would stop up that hole. Oh no, my other end came undone a little bit. Okay, so there's the one end. I'm going to do this other end, and then I'm going to put the toggle on, and we will have another necklace finished. So let's put my crimp bead, my wire guard, up and over, back through my crimp, and down through several beads here. I'm not going to really worry about going down. I'm going to go down through several, but, you know, 3 or 4 on this side. Okay, so there we have it, because we did several on the other, so we should have some thread. Well, it's not hooked together, so it's not going to matter, but still, that's good. Okay, because I'm tired. All right, let's crimp this down. And we're going to close that up. Come on now. There we go. Just being as difficult as it possibly can today for me. Alright, come on, crimp bead. Do not make my life miserable today. There we go. It just did not want to close up. Tug it, make sure it's not going anywhere. Okay, and then we're going to put these on with our jump ring. Now you want to make sure that it's going to fit around your neck. So let me put this on here, and I'm just going to test it. If it is too small, I'm going to add another jump ring, a couple more jump rings on there, but you can do that on your own and see, you know, how this fits. This fits me absolutely perfectly as a choker, and it is right under 16 inches, so that works really good for me. So here it is. This is necklace number, I think 5. 1, 2, yeah, number 5. For necklace number 6. This one's going to be pretty easy. Here's the things I did not manage to use. These I can use on this, but this bead was chipped, so I didn't end up using it. I could do it as a dangle on something, on one of the necklaces that had this on there. And this guy, I was trying to fit him in here, but he's not going to do it. He's not going to work because of this bright, and I'm not going to force it and make it look stupid. So, just not going to use him. So sorry, little enameled mushroom. You are out. Everything else from the box we are using and will be used up. So that's it. Literally, those 2 things are the only things left, and we will have made 6 necklaces. So pretty impressive. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these little combos that I've got here. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we've got 13 of these little combos, and they are going to be drops. So we're going to take, and I might, let me see if this looks good. Might take this bead cap, put it on the bottom of here, and then put this guy on. Yeah, that's super cute right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to bend it 90 degrees. Where's my round nose pliers? There. I'm going to grab right here. I'm going to come up and over and back under. And I've got my little loop here, and then I'm just going to wrap just a couple of times. I'm not going to do major wraps on these or anything, just a couple of times. And then I'm going to trim this off. Okay, so there's our little drop. And then you can tuck this in right here. So you need to do that with all of these little sets. Okay, and then come on back. So I'm back. I've got all my little dangles here. They're cute. And what I'm going to do is start with this bead in the center. So it doesn't have to be a focal bead, it's just one of the beads. And I'm using Coriana chain, so this is available on my website. If you're interested, you can just bead right on it. Now, I want to decide, do I want to hang these on here, just like this, or do I want to use a jump ring? So let's see how they look hanging on here, just like this. Well, they're kind of cute, so let's keep going. This is not going to be a super long necklace, but we don't need anything really, really long. We've had a couple long ones, so this one will not be a choker, but it also won't be, you know, really long. Okay, and I'm just going to continue to thread on all these nugget beads, and then my charms that I've my little drops that I've made, and just alternating end to end, so I end up with the same thing on both ends. So go ahead and string yours on. When you get done with these guys, when you're out of these guys right here, then there's some of the rondelles left, there's some of the nuggets left, and you can just fill up the rest of your chain with that stuff. So we're using all the beads, so everything will get used except for that one little bead that was cracked and the one enamel charm. So just go ahead, keep putting these all on here, stringing them on, and when you've got every bead on here like you like it, okay, then come right on back. Okay, so I've got this many on. I have this little guy left over. I'm not sure why I have him left over, but I'm just going to stick him on this side and add another thing over here. Alright, so there we have it. There they all are on there. Now, like I said, I've got some extras here, and I'm going to use all of these. So I'm just going to go rondelle, and this will go right on the Coriana chain. This guy. And I'm just going to finish using all the little beads here. Rondelle. And this guy. Then I'm going to do another one of these, I think. And then a rondelle. No, I don't like that. I'm going to do the rondelle and then that, and then another rondelle and then the next one. That just doesn't look right doing it the other way. I don't think. You can do it however you want, but I like this better. Yeah. Okay. Another rondelle. Another one of these guys. And I knew I was going to have him left, and that's okay. So I'm going to go take these guys and put them on here. Just like this, and just like this, and then that little rondelle I'm just going to use for a dangle on the end. So here's what I've got. Oh, I have one of those left too. Okay, well, we'll use that for a dangle on the end too. So grab yourself a ball head pin, put this guy on and this guy on, make another wrapped loop just like we've been doing. We've gotten to be experts today at wrapped loops. Have we not? Alright, tuck it. Now, you have to hold this up, see if it is how you want it to be, or if you want it to be shorter. Mine's a little too long. So I'm going to cut a little bit off, just scooting everything down here. Yeah, that might be enough. That little end piece there is tarnished anyway. Now I'm going to hold it back up. Still need it to be just a tad shorter. So I want to make sure that everything is even here, and it is. That's even. So I'm going to come in with my cutters and just like right about here, I'm going to cut that on both sides, so I don't have to keep scooting the beads all around, because these little pieces aren't going to amount to anything anyway. Okay, now we're going to finish it off. So we're going to take our clamshell connector, put it right on here, and then I'm going to do both crimps. So I'm going to do one crimp, and I'm just going to flatten this crimp down right up here near the top of the chain. You don't want to get too close to the top of the chain because it'll break it off when you crimp down. So just be careful with that. But we're just flattening these two little crimps with our chain nose pliers. And see, they won't come off after that. They're very solidly on there. And then I'm going to close this up. Okay, and if there's a little bit sticking out like that, just trim it off of your chain. There we go. Okay, same on the other side. So we have made 6 necklaces with our bargain bead box for August. We have not skimped on any beads. We've not used beads from any other source except for a couple of bead caps, but not beads. And made 6 necklaces. So I would say that the bargain bead box is a pretty excellent value. Alright, this one's pretty. It actually turned out nice. I was worried because of those vermilion beads, but they look good on here, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach our lobster. Here it is. And we're going to attach our end dangle piece here. Oh, you know what? I think these are too big to go through those little clamshell. It is. Let me get a little bit smaller ring. Yeah, I forgot about that. But those don't like to go through those clamshell. They're too small. Okay, well I may just have to do this because I don't have another ring that's big enough that'll go through there. So let's just use a regular jump ring here. We will take this guy and put it right here. He'll go through there. Well, he should. What's wrong with you? There we go. Just had to get it lined up correctly. Okay. And I'm going to hook this right onto this one, since we have it here. Close this up. Put this guy on. Close him up. And there's our really cute little necklace. It actually did turn out super cute, even with the vermilion beads, I gotta say. It's not bad at all. So, 6 necklaces, guys, made with the bargain bead box. There's number 1. Here it is. Well, that's actually number 1, but we're just gonna, number 2. Okay. So there's 1 and 2. Here's 3. Our little tassel. Here's our ladder necklace for number 4. That one I like. I think it's really unusual and different. Really cool. There's 4. Here is this one for number 5. Now it would be really cute if you wanted to. You could layer these two even. If I can get him untangled. Oh boy. Always end up with a big tangled mess when I have a bunch of necklaces on my... You could possibly layer it even like that. I don't know. But anyway, there's number 5. And then last but not least, we have our little choker for number 6. So 6 necklaces made using the bargain bead box. I do have a coupon code for bargain bead box if you're interested in that, and when you subscribe you get their 30% off coupon to use over and over in their sister store as much as you want. Look how pretty that looks together. It's really a great deal, so check them out. I will have everything linked in the description box below the video, and the only thing we didn't use was this enameled pendant piece and this one because he's broken on the end. So otherwise, I guess I could still use him for a dangle. I could put him on here as a little dangle if I wanted to with just a ball head pin. That would be okay. So then we would have used everything in the entire box except for that. And I just could not figure out another way to use that with the beads that I had, and the colors that we had, and I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I failed at that, I guess. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. I'm gonna hang this little guy right on here, and then we've used everything except for the one enamel charm out of the bargain bead box. So have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.